All right, welcome to the Newage. How you feeling today?
I feel good. I feel pretty good.
Feel pretty good. Is you alive? Is you awoke? Is you here? Okay, let's get straight into it. I'm gonna give a stock rundown. You're gonna give a crypto rundown, and then we're hopping into it. So, I'm gonna start with GSAT. GSAT is currently 38 cents down on the pre-market right now. They are at 196. SoFi is at 14.17. Let's talk about NVIS. NVIS is up 14 cents in the pre-market. They are at $14.66. AMC is currently right at $44, up 67 cents in the pre-market. And we got Virgin Galactic. They're up 79 cents on the pre-market. The EV charging stations, they are kind of in flux right now. Blank charging is down 8 cents in the pre-market. They're at 31.16. Charge point is at $21. They're up 10 cents. And then Plug Power is down 9 cents at 26.04. So that's some of the stocks. Zoom video, Zoom Video Communications, ticker symbol ZM. They are down $50 in the pre-market. They are at 297.39. That's a stock that a lot of people made money off of
During the
pandemic. I think their earnings were really, really bad, so they took a huge hit yesterday. So they may recover today. They may keep falling.
What do you see about, what's your take on Zoom before I get into the crypto rundown? Mm-hmm. What's your thoughts on Zoom having such a big retracement? And do you see a recovery, so to speak, with that particular product in light of the industry that it's in?
Yeah, so full disclaimer, I'm not invested into Zoom, so I don't know what happened with the earnings. I haven't read up on that.
Okay.
My thing about Zoom is, how does it continue to evolve? Mm-hmm. Remember when we were younger, remember the company called Uvu, when you could video chat?
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Yeah, Uvu. And that was this huge, hot video platform where you could do the same thing you do with Zoom, and it just faded away. So,
that's interesting. I don't remember that, but go ahead.
Yes, it was right. It was like right with Skype.
Oh, okay.
But the teens would kind of do Uvu. Yeah.
Right. So that's why I'm like, I don't remember that.
Yeah. One. So again,
similar MySpace. Sorry. No, go ahead.
So Skype, probably lasted longer than them, but you don't really hear a whole bunch of people talk about Skype. I'm not sure if you'll hear a whole bunch of people talk about Zoom in the near future. I feel like what they do have is they capitalize on the pandemic. So when people think about work from home, video conferences, they think about Zoom right now, and it may linger over into the future years. But I'm not a long-term bullish Zoomer.
Okay, so we'll get right into the crypto space, which is my favorite, beginning with Bitcoin. Bitcoin is up 0.55%. Ethereum is having a major run up at 8%. XRP up 2.63%. Cardano up 1.61%. Chainlink up 9.24%. And Engine, which is the first crypto that I ever invested into. Engine is a gaming coin. Today they're up 0.2% at $2.09. I got in the Engine at 15 cents over a year ago, around May of 2020.
Good Lord.
And so I was able to purchase quite a bit of it, and it's doing my portfolio well. Again, it's in the gaming industry, partnered with Microsoft. So I highly recommend it to you, because I can't give advice to anybody else. In fact, you in it already.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've recommended it to you, and you
Right.
got into it. So, saying great returns from that. But the crypto space, it took a slight retracement. But today, everything looks green for the most part. So I'm excited about that.
Okay, so the time is now 9 o'clock. If you don't know, the crypto market is open 24/7. Weekday, weekend, doesn't matter. It's on. The stock market is not open yet. This is the pre-market stock debate. And we have 30 minutes until the stock market opens. So how do you feel as though the how do you feel as though the stock market will play out today?
Before I answer that, let me give our full disclaimer. Nothing we say on this live podcast is financial advice. Please check with a financial advisor, a licensed one, and do your own due diligence before making any financial decisions. This is for education and entertainment purposes only. Your question was, how do I think the stock market will play out today? I think we'll see a green day. I'm a little optimistic.
Why? Cause you woke up on the right side of the bed, or you got some information that the world doesn't know.
A little bit of both. A little bit of both. I like the direction, some of the catalysts that's that's underway, making way for opportunities like some of the stocks that we've been looking at.
Right.
Over the past few months.
Right, or that we're currently in.
Yeah, and that we're currently in. Coupled with the short squeezes, that gives extra strength to the shorted stocks.
Yeah. So
what's your take on it? How you feel about it?
As far as today, I think it may be in flux. It may start green and red, or start red and green. I think we'll have a steady day. I don't think nothing's gonna pop off.
You're not as optimistic.
I think it's just a regular day in the stock market. Let me just say that it's nothing. For me personally, let me just say I don't feel like nothing's gonna go too crazy. With that being said, though, it is like you said, things gaining momentum. So let's get into it. We got this article from Benzinga. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. But it says Root, ticker symbol Root, ROOT, Corsair Gaming Inc. That is ticker symbol CRSR.
Another gaming stock.
Yep. Alibaba, which is ticker symbol BABA. And then GSAT, Global Star Inc. We talked about that yesterday. GSAT, GSAT. And, of course, our lovely, darling AMC. It's all on the Wall Street Bets radar for today. What's your take on those stocks in particular? And what's your take on the assumed Wall Street Bets radar? And just for clarification, Wall Street Bets is
That's what I was about to say.
Yeah, okay.
No, go. You good?
Wall Street Bets is a community on Reddit, on a social media at Reddit. They are a community of investors.
Shout out Wall Street Bets. That's all I was going to add.
Shout out Wall Street Bets.
I'm a part of the community. I'm probably not. I don't participate as much as others in the community, but what makes me a part of it is because I'm invested into some of the stocks that the community is, and I follow the community. I think stocks like Alibaba, Global Star, AMC specifically, even that gaming stock, I don't know much about it. I love the gaming industry, and not from a playing standpoint, but from a investing standpoint.
Yeah.
But I don't know much about that stock, nor the stock called Root. But the other three, Alibaba, Global Star, and AMC, I'm bullish on. I think that. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, that took me off guard a little bit. Why are you bullish? I'm gonna let you finish saying what you're saying.
I think that the industry that Alibaba is in, they're a first mover in China. We'll get into Alibaba next. Global star. I've been invested in that for a little while now. The industry that's in is satellite / the space sector, or intricate in the infrastructure of the space sector. And AMC, I'm an ape.
Let's get it. So, it kind of took me off guard when you said you're bullish on Alibaba. I'm curious to hear why you're bullish on Alibaba. But before we get into that, I was so when this article was first presented to as the topic for the day, I was intrigued that Wall Street Bets is eyeing GSAT and eyeing Alibaba after Alibaba's huge retracement. Their stock has basically been cut in half.
Right.
Their 52-week high was 319, and they're currently at 167, I believe. So, that was interesting to me that they're on that. Wall Street Bets is known for rooting for the underdog, rooting for the beaten up stock. So I shouldn't be surprised. But
I'm about to say that's partly why. It's partly why, because I feel it's a similar dynamic to AMC in that the powers that be, come against, in this case particularly, China. Yeah. Come against, and we see it with Elon Musk. Go ahead.
So, but that's why I was going to.
I kind of more so look at it similar to Elon Musk.
What I eventually was going to ask you though is, why are you optimistic on Alibaba, knowing the conflict of Alibaba and China, and the control that China has in that space?
One of the major things I'm looking at is the need for it. Right? Or the demand for what they offer to the society of people, and that being, pretty much e-commerce. I think that China, we got to understand this about the stock market. It's a global competitive economy, right? And when any investor that's entering in or already in needs to understand that. Right. So we can't just look at the stock market from what's happening in the United States or whatever, right?
But you can make strategic picks if you feel as though
Right. Go ahead. Make your point.
If you feel as though the Chinese regime is basically dismantling Alibaba, or
I don't feel that.
I'm not saying they are. I'm saying if you feel that way, you can make strategic picks and I'm gonna just stick with domestic stocks right now. Right. It's a lot of Chinese stocks that have been drastically brought down because of the implications in China and the control they have over in that country.
Right, I agree with that. But
that's my point. So I get what you're saying as it's a global market, but I can stay domestic.
So
that's what I'm saying.
My reason for saying that, right? My reason for saying that is China wants to beat United States, right? So although they're bringing, strict regulatory bans and things like that, they still want to compete against the United States in the race for first or number one in the global economy. Alibaba is their own, so I think that the hope is to put enough pressure on Jack Ma that he would come under.
Jack Ma is the founder of Alibaba.
Right. That he will comply with the direction that they want to go in, get on board with, with the government, etc. I feel like a 50% retracement,
Okay.
it's a lot of room. This is my bullishness, to be more direct.
I'm about to say, this is what it sounds like.
Yeah, this is where my bullishness really comes into play. A 50% retracement makes way for a lot of room for opportunity / growth.
Right. Yeah.
Right? Even if it doesn't get back up to the $300+ that it was once at.
Yeah.
If it can go from 160 to 200 and I get enough shares, or an investor gets enough shares, that's a huge, that's a pretty decent return on investment if it goes 200+, et cetera, so that's what I'm looking at. And I believe it's heavily shorted.
Yeah.
So I think that with so much.
Is it heavily shorted, or you just?
Let me clarify that.
Mm-hmm.
Let me confirm that before.
Shorted or oversold? You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, I'll confirm that before we get off the live.
Okay.
I believe that it's shorted.
Yeah.
But we'll see. I'll confirm whether it is or not before we get off the live.
Okay.
But that's where my bullishness comes in. I see it as an opportunity for me. Oh, go ahead.
No, you just see it as an opportunity to buy a huge dip. That's what
Right.
I'm with.
Right.
So let's talk about a company that.
But all stocks, we got to be clear that all stocks, just because they retrace, don't mean that they'll have a good comeback.
Recover, right?
Yeah, you know what I mean? So Alibaba, that's what made me go in the direction.
It's a popular meme. It's a popular meme on social media. It's like, but the dip keeps dipping. What if you buy the dip and the dip keeps dipping?
But that's what made me go into the direction that I went in with the background of it.
Yeah.
I think the popularity and use case will allow it to have some form of recovery.
Yeah. So let's talk about a company that heavily uses China's infrastructure, and that is Apple. So Apple includes emergency satellite capabilities on iPhone. They were up 2.75%, I believe, yesterday, or maybe earlier today. I'm not sure. They had a nice run up yesterday, all the way up to like 153, maybe 154. So Apple had a run up, and GSAT, going back to Global Star Inc., ticker symbol GSAT. They had a huge run up yesterday.
Which one? GSAT as well?
GSAT. Mm-hmm. And they are a satellite infrastructure communications type of company. So it triggered thought in me early.
We mentioned them. Did you just say that? We mentioned them. We talked a little bit about them yesterday.
Yeah, yesterday.
Okay.
Yeah, I mentioned that. So, and really earlier today, because Wall Street Bets that's on their radar.
Right.
But point being, it triggered thought in me. So, satellite company, and then you got Apple, including emergency satellite companies. What's your take on? Do you think this is a reflection of like the hurricane storm that's happening down in Florida or wherever it's down south? I would just say Louisiana. Or do you think this was just bullish sentiment on satellites?
I think it's more bullish sentiment on satellites than a direct result of what's happening with the hurricane. However, to your point and the point you made yesterday with the capability of the satellites allows for rural areas without bandwidth and capabilities for internet.
Yeah.
In light of the hurricane happening, some of those things would damage the current infrastructure, being in place.
Yeah.
So, but I still think that it may be a little bit of that, but I think it's more so a bullishness on satellites because of the general need for it moving forward is a high demand for it.
Before I go to you, Antwain, so you're both in GSAT and Apple.
I'm in both of them.
So talk about, because when you first got into Apple obviously you got into GSAT because of the satellite and potential space opportunities there. But I don't think you foresaw this kind of Apple and GSAT. Like I'm actually correlating because I'm actually like it's people talking about Apple News affecting GSAT? I don't know if they got something going on, like as far as a collaboration or something, but.
So GSAT, like you said, mentioned, GSAT is the infrastructure. You know, some of the material chips or whatever the things that make the satellites work is directly what GSAT provides.
So do you think Apple may be partnering with them, or?
I believe that GSAT the product that they offer, Apple will need to, can possibly be relying on.
So I'm about to go to you. Give me 1 second. This is the importance of knowing that you always don't need to know fundamentals to play a stock.
So
go ahead.
So that's a great point, Datwan. This is why. Neither one of those plays did I look at fundamentals. And both of them are winners for me. I'm winning with both of them. What I saw with GSAT was the future, the now/future, right? So I got in early enough, understanding, and I'm talking about the near future. I ain't talking about, future with the 5G and all of that was talked about last year.
Right.
So, that's what I saw with GSAT. I didn't look at I always look at, who they're partnering with, so they partner with, I think, like companies like NASA and things like that. So that helped cement my convictions, to go with that stock. Apple, it's a lifetime stock.
Yeah.
I was able to benefit off of it last year, and I kind of learned the way Apple moves.
Yeah.
So I played it as a leap, expecting it to do a run up like around this time, this third, fourth quarter, because that's what happened last year.
Yeah. So.
But neither one of those, was fundamentally, fundamental decisions.
Right. So, again, there has not been no confirmed news about Apple having to deal with GSAT, far as I know, right?
Mm-hmm.
And yet, the rumors and news of Apple getting into the satellite game moved GSAT. This is how you can play these rumors and news. Because now
that's great.
And now I'm literally looking at what people are saying, and they're speculating an Apple deal or Apple news coming out that may come out to confirm a GSAT collaboration. So again, they may not even need to have a deal.
It's just
it already ran up.
Right.
It already ran up. It ran up 50-60% yesterday.
We're talking about GSAT.
And
Apple was up $5.
So you could have already made your money without a confirmed deal.
Right.
Without a real deal in place. This is the potential of just playing rumors and noise. Antwain.
I'm glad you touched on that. That makes a lot of sense with the Apple and GSAT. I gotta say that it was definitely a good push for GSAT, and that's why I think the numbers went up, because Bloomberg has an article saying that Apple plans to let you connect your iPhone to satellites so you can contact emergency service in areas that do not have cellular coverage. That's huge.
Yeah.
That's huge. And that's why I said it could be some validity to the storm in light of what that article that Antwain just read.
Right.
It could be some validity there.
And I'm glad you brought that up, and thank you for reading that. Again, did that article confirm that Apple was working specifically with GSAT?
No, Your Honor.
No, not at all. Not at all. And yet, we see a 50% run up because GSAT is a satellite company. So, if you would have invested $100 in GSAT, you could have made $50. If you
from a traditional investment.
Yeah, from just buying it. If you would have invested $500, you could have made $250. If you would have invested,
which is a great return on investment.
Right.
That's
if you would have invested $1,000, you could have made $500. If you would have invested 10,000, you could have made 5,000. And it goes on and on and on. And this is the game that we play. You can make off of a 10% move. You getting 10% return on your money. Your money is working for you. Go ahead, Antwain.
So it's kind of funny that this is happening around the same time the hurricane is going on down in New Orleans. So now it's I think it's going to get a crazy push. Apple representative declined to comment about any features that's coming on that, updates or anything, but looking forward to it.
Right. And don't they got like a new iPhone coming out?
Yes, they did.
Right. So
the other thing that they have.
Let me say this. Go ahead. No, I'm going to let you go.
The other thing that Apple have, you talked about a new iPhone. Remember, we just talked about Apple a few days ago.
Right.
In light of the CEO, Tim Cook, transitioning out, new CEO coming in.
Right.
But the big technology that they have on play is the Apple glasses.
Right.
Can you imagine what the need and demand for satellite would do with these Apple glasses?
Good point.
So this is going to be this is huge news.
Yeah. So, right. So again, I know the stock market may look daunting to some people who are naive to it and don't, fully understand it. But you do not need to know everything. You do not need to know everything. I don't need to know the books of GSAT. I don't need to know the books of Apple. And I could have just made 50% off my money. You don't need to know everything.
Mm-hmm. I didn't know everything.
Right.
And I
still don't know everything.
Right. We still don't know everything. I knew what I educated myself and looked into enough information for me to make a informative decision on both of those plays.
So let me ask you a question. What would you say is your number one under the radar play right now?
That I'm already in or that I'm looking at?
Both. It could be either or.
My number one under the radar play, I would have to say GSAT. And to your point, you pointed out that it already had a major run, which, if you get in now, it could be, it's potential that we're already at the top of it. Yeah. That's always a possibility.
Right.
At the same time, because of the magnitude of the news, it could have more room to run. We don't know. Right. But I would have to say that's either that. I got another one that I'm in, MVIS. So it's between them two plays that I would say would be my major under the radar play currently.
So I'm about to.
I'm getting in the one that you are very bullish on. This one I'm looking at.
That's what I'm about to go at. But
okay, one that's been on your radar for a long time. That you keep prodding me the way you did with AMC.
Right.
Prodding me to look into this.
Right.
And I'm gonna get into it this morning. In fact.
So the stock he's talking about is ticker symbol ATNF.
Talk to us about
ticker symbol ATNF.
And what you see, what made you get into that play? What did you see? Because it may not have been the fundamentals, or it may be, but just help us understand what you saw and see with this particular play that makes you so
I'm about
bullish.
to read off what someone tweeted on the app called StockTwits. So if you're a new investor, you can download the app called StockTwits. They are a stock tweeting app. So,
shout out the StockTwits.
So ATNF. Would not be surprised to see a ticker symbol SPRT. Ticker symbol SPRT just rose about what 200%. Sprout.
Man.
What? Oh, supportinc.com.
Yeah.
Supportinc.com.
They had a major run up.
Yeah, they had a major run up. So the guy's saying would not be surprised to see a SPRT type move soon in ATNF, but due to a combo of real catalysts. So he's talking about the trial results that can come out, right?
Mm-hmm.
He says insanely undervalued market cap and large level of shorts that need to cover. Many have jumped back in this past several weeks, including 600K in one day recently, and many hitting in dark pool exchanges. So let me break that down in simpler terms. AT&F is a company that does inflammation products as far as pharmaceuticals, drugs, stuff like that, medicines,
Right.
like that.
It's a biotech company.
And they are doing their trial periods right now as we speak to get approved for certain medicines. If they get approved for these medicines, their stock can 2x, 3x, 4x, 5x, 10x. The possibilities are limited. I mean, unlimited. So you have that. Then you have the short interest. The short interest is whoever's shorting this stock has to eventually cover, has to eventually buy back that stock that they shorted. So this is the same type of strategies that made AMC run, GME run, and we've seen how they Tilray. We've seen how they've run because of short interest and heavily shorted stocks. SPRT was a heavily shorted stock. So we had all these margin calls going on, all these short squeezes going on, and then we have real catalyst.
So separate the two for the listening viewers. The difference between the real catalyst versus it was something else you just mentioned. All this, everything that's going on around it, the short.
So you want me to separate what? Short interest versus the
real catalyst, because short interest is not a fundamental.
Yeah. I thought I did explain that, but I'll explain it again.
No, you ain't got. I just want you to separate the two.
So again, short interest is when a company is shorting the stock. Mm-hmm. They are betting against the stock, but eventually they have to cover back.
Right, you did mention that.
So with a lot of investors and institutional. Let me get my point.
No, you fine.
When a lot of institutional investors short a stock, when they cover it and buy back the stock, it has a push up. So you got that potential of a push up on the right side with short interest. Mm-hmm. Then you have a potential on the left side with
real
catalysts where that medicines can be approved due to the trial periods.
Right.
So if the trial periods come back and they are approved and the stock starts to push up, that puts more pressure on the shorts.
That's what I wanted.
To have to cover.
Right.
So then that makes them push the stock up.
Right.
So then you got an influx of both.
And the explosion, the potential for financial explosion.
Right. Potential of financial explosion.
Can take place.
So it's a lot of potential in this stock. That's why I'm in it. I really want to get in it more. Mm-hmm. I'm waiting for some things to play out, but I am in it now. And this is my under the radar stock that not enough people are talking about. And I can see it moving just like ticker symbol SPRT. If you are not familiar with ticker symbol SPRT, look at their chart over the last week or two, and you'll see the movement that they had. I believe AT&F can have the same type of movement.
Right. And by the way, we're not saying that we're right. Again, this is not financial advice. This is, Datwan, we've been right on a lot of our picks, whether we got into them or whether we didn't, as it relates to, them having huge increases that they've had. And again, that's both stocks that we picked but never invested into, along with the stocks that we've picked and, of course, invested into. What would you say would be the reason for your biggest, I don't want to say success, but why you're able to hit, why you think you as well as myself, well, let's speak for yourself, are able to hit these things on a nail them.
Yeah,
hit the bullseye on these picks.
I feel as though the main thing is me playing momentum early.
So you would say that it's the strategy that you're using?
That is my strategy. So I get into a particular play, a particular stock, a particular investment early enough where momentum is coming in, but it's not quite there.
Mm-hmm.
And you got, speculation, you got rumors, you got news that's, surrounding the stock, but hasn't manifested itself yet. Mm-hmm. I get in before. And once the news, rumors, and speculation starts to hit the stock, I'm already in it. So then FOMO hits it. People want to hurry up and jump in and run to the stock because it's making a lot of people money. Like, it's making me money. So they like, oh, all these people making money on this stock, let me run into it. I've already made my money. I can get out now. So this is, really you could say my biggest strategy and what's, within 10x my portfolio is getting into something early before, the news, speculation, and rumors has manifested itself in these plays.
Okay, that's a great assessment. Great insight and assessment. The time is now 9:30, but I want to go over this really quick before we leave. This is why, the importance of getting in early, right? GSAT is down 10.61% currently in the pre-market. So it's already retraced 10%,
right?
10+%, 11%, and it's steady rising on the steady going down currently as I speak.
Right.
Am I scared? By no stretch of the imagination. I'm still up because I got in early. Apple is down 0.63%.
Right.
So this is the importance of getting in early and why I wanted you to explain just what you see and the importance of getting in early.
Right.
Because let's say people would have, and it's not necessarily a bad thing to get in now. It's really, could be opportunity to catch the next run up, however long or short that may be.
Right.
Well, you got something you want to say?
No, I was just about to say, a lot of times when we get news after there's speculation, after there's a lot of hype around the stock, a lot of times the news expand the bubble, and then the bubble pops and it deflates the stock. So it's huge to get in before the run up. Really before the news. And then you reap the rewards.
Right, and then this is the last thing I'm gonna say, which that was a great point. The other thing we got to realize or I want to make everybody aware of that happens is oftentimes people take their profits from the run up. So if I've been in GSAT or Apple or whatever, let's say I got 100,000 invested into it. Let's just say that, and the stock runs up 10%, right? Just using a conservative number, if it runs up 10%, I'd have made $10,000 in one day.
Right.
So I'm happy with, or some people are happy with that type of return on investment. They'll take their profits. Most people, especially big institutions that play with millions and millions of dollars, some of them, if they had, 10 million invested, they made $1 million in one day.
Right.
So they'll take those profits and look for the next opportunity for the run up.
And you just broke that down perfect. I really don't got much to add to that. But a lot of times, these large institutions, sometimes they'll keep their money in because they're playing long term. They're playing 5-10 years out. So that 10% run up they may not even really care about that because they're playing 100% long term gains.
Right, and some people
Right. I'm glad you about to point this out. Go ahead.
They'll take those profits, the $1 million, $10,000, what it was, and wait for a retracement where they can get back in at the low price, and then reinvest and get another run up.
Right.
Keep swinging it. So it's multiple strategies. This is a fun game. It is. It's called the money game. It's fun once you understand it.
Right.
But that's all I have for today. I think Antwain had something he wanted to share with us.
Yeah, I want to touch on something, you guys. The SEC is talking about banning payment for order flow. Now I have two questions on that one, guys. Will this be a good thing for the market? That's one. Second, how will this affect stocks like Robinhood, because they make a lot of money using the payment for order flow? Give me some touches on that, guys.
Antwain,
that's a great. Great questions, Antwain. You want to tackle this?
Nah, I'll let you tackle.
Okay, so one, the order flow. What the SEC is positioning is something that retail investors have been begging for since the manipulation that's taken place with Amazon stocks like AMC, GME, Tilray, etc. Allowing, the market makers, the order flow allows the market makers to play off on the backs, off of the backs of the retail investors, right? So with them possibly regulating this, potentially regulating this, it stops that, so they can no longer see our order flows. Coupled with bringing Robinhood right into the part two of your question, bringing Robinhood right into this, their whole business model is predicated off of this. This is how the issue with GME and AMC started. A company called Citadel would pay Robinhood to expose the volume and different things that the retail investors were purchasing for each stock. So they've as a result given hedge funds and market makers a leg up on us, and they know which way to swing the stock. Of course, because they got bigger investing dollars than your average retail investors, such as yourself, myself, etc. So it will affect Robinhood, I believe, my opinion. It will affect Robinhood greatly, because this is what Robinhood's business model is predicated off of, the order flow.
Okay. So let me just.
So I think we'll see a hit to Robinhood stock in the near future. In fact, I might short Robinhood stock.
No.
I'm serious. That might be a play for me.
No, I was about to say, let me add some context to what's going on. So the market is now open. Robinhood is down 18 cents. They're down 0.41% right now. So they may be, looks like they're maybe starting to recover, but it's still early, so that doesn't really matter. For full context, 80% of revenue is from payment of order flow.
For Robinhood.
80%. 80%. That's what I'm saying. That is not.
I've heard that. Yeah. But you're saying the it's not confirmed.
Yeah, it's not confirmed. It's just. I'm just had to put that out there.
Right.
It's speculation. And then, the SEC use words like may consider.
Right.
So it doesn't mean it's actually going to happen. It's may consider. So do that due diligence on however you
decide to play
that. I think sometimes a lot of this stuff can be just noise. And us young, new,
ambitious
retail investors can move off of just anything. It's it's nothing set in stone. So I wouldn't
get too excited.
I wouldn't get too excited. But that is big news, though. If that actually happens, that takes a huge hit to Robinhood business model. But if it does it happen, that's the question. Does it happen?
Right now, it's speculation. Right. I'm looking at it. If I decide to play that, I will be shorting it. But like you said, I gotta see how it plays out, how the news, and if it actually becomes in effect before I make that type of play. So thank you for that context, giving the viewers context.
All I know is my guy Vlad is sweating in his boots right now. Sweating in his boots.
He should be.
He should be.
Thief.
On that note, yes, Robin the Hood. On that note, welcome to the New Age. This is Datwan. This is LJ. Appreciate you, Antwain. We out.